Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's your boy McKinley Crain here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2004 PG-13 rated Will Ferrell comedy that was a big hit and everybody loved, including me. And it's super funny, and it's also super silly, and the main character is very memorable. And this movie is oftenly quoted. It's quoted a lot, and everybody loves it, and it had like an influence on comedy movies, a lot of comedy movies, if you know what I mean. A lot of other comedy movies, like future comedy movies, if you know what I mean. And that comedy movie is Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Anyway, so, by the way, this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not gonna, be getting into too deep into the plot, if you know what I mean. So this is, of course, about, a news reporter slash anchorman named Ron Burgundy, who's, really famous in San Diego or whatever. He's, a huge icon. This movie takes place back in the 70s, and, of course, there's, a new reporter or anchorman it's like a new reporter that shows up, and can't remember who plays her. I can't remember her last name, but her first name's Veronica. And of course Ron Burgundy gets jealous, but it's, how do I put this? I don't think this is a spoiler, but this whole movie is basically built on the chemistry between Ron Burgundy and Veronica. And it's a really good film. It's really funny, it's really silly. It's just a really good film with some super random moments. Just flat out randomness, super bizarre moments that I really enjoyed. This movie has a whole bunch of memorable. The cast of this movie is so memorable. It's got a whole bunch of memorable actors. Everybody knows who Steve Carell is. Everybody knows who Paul Rudd is. Everybody knows who. Sorry, I'm just not thinking right now. Everybody knows who Will Ferrell is. Well, at least they do now. And I just really enjoyed this movie, and it was just such a fun watch. And the story is, it's a bit cliche, if you know what I mean. It's a bit predictable, but it's the good cliche, the good predictable. It doesn't bother you at all, and it's just a really great film. And I think everybody knows the infamous scene from this movie. You know what I'm saying? The infamous scene. I can't really say what it is because, spoilers. But, a lot of people do know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows the infamous, that one infamous scene that I can't even reference. I want to say what it is, because that would be a spoiler. Anybody's. Okay, my bad. I said anybody, but I meant anyway. My brain's just not working right now. I don't know. I'm just really tired. Anyway, so this movie was basically what made Will Ferrell a household name. He had been in a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch of comedy movies, but a few comedy movies before this. But this was the movie that made Will Ferrell the comedy star he is. And yeah, the characters in this movie are just so lovable. A lot of them are not role models by any means. Ron Burgundy is he's a hero, but they're his character is flawed. He's sexist, he's racist, and you know, you know, like, he's a douchebag. Let me just say, let me just say it like that. He's he can be like a major douchebag in this movie sometimes, but like, you know, he's a lovable character. He's like, you know, one of those characters that, like, you know, they're not role models, but, you know, you just love them because they're funny and they're just so entertaining to watch. It's like Bart Simpson off of The Simpsons. You know, sometimes he's not the best role model or whatever, but like, you know, he's just a super lovable character, and you know, he makes you laugh, and you know, sometimes he is a great role model, but like, you know, it's just Ron Burgundy's just that type of character. Like, you know, you love him even though he's flawed. You know, a lot of movie characters, like, you know, have big flaws or whatever, but you know, you love them and stuff like that. You still love them, like, you still just love that character, you know. I love pretty much all the characters in this movie, from, like, you know, the villain, from the villain to, like, you know, his news team. Like, you know, Steve Carell is great in this movie. You know, Paul Rudd is great in this movie. That guy I can't remember the name of. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember the name of him. I cannot remember the name of, like, you know, one of the dudes in his news team. I know it was super simple. It's at the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I know he likes to say, like, whammy or like, I don't know. It's been almost a year since I've seen that movie. I've only seen it once, so my memory might be a little spotty right now, and it sometimes, but, like, you know, I'll remember later. Anyway, so this is just one of the greatest comedy movies of all time. No problem. I have no problems with it. But, like, you know, wait a minute, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna give this movie a 100% out of a 100%. It's perfect. It's one of the best comedy movies ever. It's an A+. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Unless you do not like comedy movies, then you won't like this. And if you don't like movies that don't take themselves too seriously, then you won't like this, because this movie does not take itself seriously. Like, it's very, like, silly, like, and stuff like that. It can be illogical at some times, but, like, not in a bad way. And I can't believe, like, that's even a thing. Like, this is not illogical in a bad way. Whenever it is illogical, it's like just for laughs or whatever, and it's just for humor. It's not illogical in a bad way. Anyway, so like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return. Oh, and by the way, I've also seen the sequel to this movie, and I've also seen, like, the alternate cut of it, which is like Wake Up Ron Burgundy, the Lost Movie. And you know, I'm gonna review those in the future. So